So Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is finally in theaters, and finally we're able to start to kind of picture what this new phase of Marvel, this multiverse saga, is actually going to be. And we're actually starting to see some of those actual building blocks of how they're setting this thing up. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you guys are finding me for the very first time, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Actually, that thumbs up button is more important than the subscribe button, but if you want to hit the subscribe button, it actually helps out a lot as well. So Quantumania hit theaters. I saw it on Saturday. I wanted to go see it earlier, but unfortunately work schedule didn't really allow me to do so, but I did catch this thing first opportunity that I could on Saturday morning, and I had my own thoughts on the movie. I haven't really reviewed it on the channel. I'll probably review it probably tomorrow. I did do a live stream where I talked about my thoughts and stuff on the movie, but I haven't actually come out an official review. I thought the movie was decent. Thought it was okay, but the movie made actually a lot of money this past weekend. I want to talk about that because right now you can see that Ant-Man and the Wasp grossed over $100 million on its opening weekend, which is way more than the previous two movies had, because you see the second movie only opened up at 75, the first one only opened up at 57. So Quantumania already opened up way more than either of the other two previous Ant-Man movies, and it opened up worldwide with 357, which is already like, that's a fantastic number, because again, when you bring it up to the previous movies, the first movie only made 519, the second movie made a little bit more, but 622. So the fact that Ant-Man Quantumania is already almost at 400 million is a really good sign in its first week. So that's really good. So no matter how you want to cut it, that's a fantastic number for Quantumania to bring in such a big number on its opening week. Now, this movie has been very divisive amongst fans and critics alike. If we actually look at the actual critic score right now, you can see it's 47% critic rating with 84% of the fan rating, and that number is actually very correct, because we did a little science experiment last night on the podcast, and we had 4 people on, and the 4 of us kind of gave our initial thoughts on the movie, and 3 out of 4 of us didn't really care for the movie all that much, right? We were like, it's okay, but it's not that great, you know, you know, and 1 person really liked it. So 1 person loved it, the other 3 just kind of like, so that gave that score an actual valid, you know, number. The fact that it's 47%, which means 4 out of every 10 people. So if you have 4 people, 1 out of every 4 people will actually really enjoy the film. So just for a lot of people out there who doesn't know how Rotten Tomatoes works, it's really just an allegory about all these different critics putting their reviews out there, and it just kind of gives it a solid number. But when you break it down to, like, you know, 1 out of 4 or 4 out of 10, the number is actually really correct. And we did that experiment last night, unknowingly that we were doing it, but we ended up doing it. So Ant-Man and the Wasp, you know, there's a lot of blowback with the critics and people, how they feel about the movie and all that stuff. But hey, at the end of the day, the movie absolutely made money. I mean, you can't sit there and say that the movie hasn't made money. It really doesn't have any competition coming up anytime really soon. I mean, you have like Creed coming up and Shazam. Creed is a totally different market. None of the Creed movies actually made a whole lot of money anyway. That doesn't talk about the quality of the film. I'm just talking about the overall, you know, budget of the film. So yeah, eventually Ant-Man's going to get knocked out of his #1 spot, but it's going to continue to start picking away money. So even if by somehow, if by next week, like, how much did it make opening weekend, right? How much did Ant-Man make this weekend, right? So we pull out that number and we just look at that number, and right now we see that Ant-Man made 104 million. So normally if it drops 50-60%, then next week is going to drop, maybe it's probably going to have like 40 million opening second weekend. Is that enough for the #1 spot next weekend? We don't really know. You're going to have a lot of YouTube channels going, oh my god, massive drop off. No, every one of these movies do that because it just happens to have a big opening weekend because everybody wants to go see it. Then we have like a 55 to 65, you know, % drop off next week, which will bring it around, you know, 45 to 50 million. So it's just something that happens all the time. It doesn't mean like it's a massive drop off or anything like that. It's just everybody's going to see it opening weekend. So that's just kind of like the nature of the beast. But overall, good opening weekend, solid numbers, great worldwide numbers, definitely helping out with the overall box office of Ant-Man. This is a much different Ant-Man movie that we have gotten in the previous two movies. And, you know, hey, it's setting up those building blocks for the multiverse saga. So that's what they're really doing here. So Peyton Reed did something completely different than he did in the first two movies. A lot of people are going to like that. A lot of people might not like that. And it's all going to depend on you. But you have to make those decisions and your thoughts for yourself. Don't allow other people to kind of, you know, change your opinion on something. If you want to go see it, go see it. So great opening weekend for Ant-Man Quantumania. Have you seen the movie? Leave those comments in the comment box below. Smash that like and subscribe button. And until next time, as always, I am Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.